What is up, peeps? Sort of in TCG here, and let's welcome you back to another YouTube video. And of course, Lost Thunder is out, and we have some fun decks to make. But first, we are going to go straight into Lost March. This is such a fun, nifty little deck that came from the Lost Thunder archetype. I did remember that I do need to make a quick change to this list, so I'll just talk to you about it a little bit as I make that immediate change. But this list is super fun, and it's almost like an autopilot list. It's so weird. You just play and you just go. Like, it's that simple. You have one strategy: get every Pokemon you can into the Lost Zone and use Lost March attack. That's pretty much it. And then you just stomp, 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 wham, 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 win the game. So it is kind of autopilot. Like, it's not as autopilot-like as Night March. Night March was just battle compressor, play, battle compressor, DCE, bang, bang, and it's just super turbo. Whereas this one takes a bit more strategy play, and it is a bit slower than Night March. So with that said, it definitely has its setbacks, and one of its main setbacks is its weakness to Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko just destroys this deck, so we've put in 2 Sky Pillars into this list in case we do come across them. I've rarely come across Tapu Koko. I've only come across it once since building this list, and I've played many games, so hopefully we don't come across any there. Right, so I see a play here. I think what we're going to do is Lele for a Professor Elm, and then use Trumbeak just to get everything into the Lost Zone. I think we're just gonna go full on aggressive here, and just go for the Trumbeaks. I don't think we need to hold on to the Trumbeaks for anything in particular. So yeah, let's just do this. So we're gonna play Professor Elm's Lecture. We're gonna grab a Hoppip, a Skip Plume, and a Natu, or another Hoppip. I think. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do because we have a Skip Plume in hand. Yeah, let's do that. I only have 3 Jump Bluff, unfortunately, but I was super lucky. I only opened 57 packs, and I know you're probably going, only 57? Okay, Sean, calm down. No, there are people that have opened hundreds of packs online and haven't got, pulled just 1 Jump Bluff, or in real life, people are opening booster boxes and not pulling any Jump Bluff. Like, Jump Bluff is hard to come by in the online version and in the... let's pass there. In the online version and also in real life. It's very hard to come by, so I'm very, very lucky to pull 3 holo rare, not even reverse holo, just holo rare Jump Bluffs from my 57 packs that I opened of Lost Thunder. Super stoked about that. Pulled a ton of Skip Plume, ton of Hoppip, and I pulled also, a ton of Trumbeaks. I pulled pretty much everything I need for this archetype, very luckily. Unfortunately, we only have 3 Lost Blender, so I have to play 3 Lost Blender, but Lost Blender is more of just a bonus in this list. It's not the core of the list, as it were, so I'm happy playing 3 anyway, and I think I might opt into just playing 3 rather than 4, because sometimes Lost Blender is a bit awkward. Usually you do want a lot of your Pokemon that you are playing for the sake of their ability. Like, it's pointless Lost Blendering a Trumbeak, because you can just throw Trumbeak into the Lost Zone anyway and potentially discard a supporter. So, or not even discard, put a supporter in the Lost Zone. So at that point, you don't want to Lost Blender Trumbeaks. You can Lost Blender the likes of Lele's and Orangurus in this list, definitely. But usually you want them out as well. So it's a bit awkward playing Lost Blender, especially given that you want to play pretty much every Pokemon you've got in your deck. But nonetheless, Lost Blender can be a bonus, just for a bit extra draw. So yeah, we're not relying on Lost Blender here. Yeah, so I was super lucky to get these Jump Bluffs. I'm super stoked about it. It means I can just play Lost March pretty much from the get-go. And I'm just I'm in love with this deck. I'm genuinely in love with this deck. It's so fun to play. And it does have its little strategy. Although this is a bit awkward. I think we're actually going to Lost Blender or Hoppip here. And Lost Blender, Hoppip, and Iguzma. Yeah, we'll do that. And hopefully we hit some... Oh, we just don't hit the energy. This is where it gets a bit awkward, because we need a Natu now. We don't have it, but, I mean, we're in a very good spot, though, when it comes to the Lost March. So I think what we're going to do is just pass, which is super orcs, unfortunately. But how much damage do we do now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, if that is correct. Am I counting my numbers right? I think so. I could be super wrong. Yeah, 14. So doing 140 damage, which is great. We just need to keep getting stuff in the Lost Zone now, so we can one-shot these Zoroarks that we're coming up against here. Now, seeing a Zoroark, a Gibble, and a Riolu is a bit weird. Why would you need Zoroark if you've got your Garchomp and your Lucario out? If you've got the Lucario out, then it's kind of like... you don't need Zorak, really, because you can get any card you want, so you don't need to draw into the cards you want, right? The reason why Zorak is good is because if you get 4 of them out in play, it's super easy to draw the stuff you want and get rid of the stuff you don't need. But when you got the likes of Lucario and Garchomp out, you don't really need a Zorak. Plus, I'm sure it may get a bit clunky. Nonetheless, they have managed to get them out, so they look like they'll be in a pretty good spot. We are just going to, again, stick to our strategy and just whack, 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 effectively. That's why I think Jumpluff is a bit autopilot-like. It's like no matter what your opponent is doing, you've just got one strategy and you've got to do it. And you can't really play around what your opponent's doing. And, you know, if you play something like Zorak, the whole Zorak archetype, no matter what type of Zorak deck you're playing, usually focuses a lot on what your opponent is playing. It has loads of different techs where you can focus on what your opponent's playing, discard what you don't need and keep what you do, and what works in every different type of matchup, which is what makes Zorak great, because in most matchups it does very well. Whereas with Jumpluff, it's like, I don't care what you're playing, I'm just going to evolve and knock you out. That's kind of what it is. So we do lose a Jumpluff already, which is quite unfortunate. But we are obviously prepared for this, because the whole point is for us to have low HP. We're going to get knocked out. That's very normal. Now, Lele. Pointless benching Lele, because we have Cynthia. We can't thin anything, so we might as well just go for that Cynthia. I wish I had something in my hand I could have thinned before playing this, because we get something like this where it's a bit awkward. I actually want to... I need an R2. I need an R2 so I can at least hit a 120 on this. And go for a two-shot. Dropping the Elms Lecture seems fine. Dropping the Oranguru doesn't, but I want to keep the DCEs. So we're gonna drop Elms Lecture Oranguru and just go down that route of grabbing a Natu. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll grab a Natu and just go in with the DCE play. Yes, this Natu is going down, but at the same time, we're not in one-shot range yet. We're gonna have to just stick to the two-shot range. We have a Lily, so hopefully we hit an Energy or a Netball. I only play free energy in this because we only have free Jumpluff. We're only going to be using free energy. And also the likes of Netball makes it really easy to find these energies once you get it out. So it's just another route to the energy, which means that, you know, it is a lot less awkward getting the energy out into play. However, we have been struggling to find it. Right, so they're going to go, and I assume they're probably, I mean, if I was them, what would I do? I mean, Acerola would be busted right now. Playing an Acerola would be good, because they could Acerola an Ascension or something, but... trading the Ultra Ball. Did they evolve to that this turn? If they evolved to that last turn, that Ultra Ball could have been real clutch for them. But I mean, at the same time, most decks we're playing against will just one-shot you anyway, so we don't need to worry about them getting a Garchomp out. Like, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of this game is probably them trying to figure out how to work to counter us, because Lost March itself doesn't necessarily have a counter, other than that, of course, of Tapu Koko, because you can't change the Lost Zone. When the Pokemon in the Lost Zone, they're in the Lost Zone. Light March had Oricorio, where it does a set amount of damage for amount of Pokemon in their discard pile. And I said this, I was like, in a Zorak list, would it be good to just play a Natu to counter Lost March? And effectively, yes, that's a good idea, but at the same time, I did completely forget when I said that it does a set amount of damage for the amount of Pokemon in your Lost Zone, not in the Lost Zone. So if, let's say, my opponent has Pokemon in their Lost Zone, that does not add to my Lost March damage, and I didn't know that until recently. So a Natu tech is kind of a bad idea, because it doesn't do the extra damage. Now, I don't know if that's a glitch or not, because it says on the card, this attack does 20 damage for each of your Pokemon. Ah, see? Each of your Pokemon in the Lost Zone. So you cannot do it for any of their Pokemon. So that's a very important wording. So a Natu tech actually would be a bad idea. So there's no real tech other than that of Tapu Koko. But as soon as you throw in a Tapu Koko tech of like 1 or 2, then Lost March is just like, okay, you can spread on me a little bit. That's fine. That sounded very bad. But I'm just going to knock out, and then you have to now find your rescue stretchers if you play them, or you're just going to have to deal with the fact that Lost March is just trumping through. Right, so we're not in knockout range of this yet, which is unfortunate. Let's see what we pull off. Is there any chance we can get some stuff into the Lost Zone? That'd be really good. Putting a Skip Bloom would be busted, and we just whiffed again. Oh, this is not nice. I don't know why I played that Netball. I assumed I had one more Hoppip, but I believe I threw one into the Lost Zone, didn't I? Oh, whiffing on these skip plumes seems super rough. Just so rough right now. Let's just go for a Lost March here of 140. We just needed one more to get the knockout there. We're just slightly off on the damage output, which is a shame. However, we do... we should be fine. We should be fine next turn. We have Lele for draw. We have Guzma if we do top deck something like an R2. I'd love to take that Zorok down. Just for the 2 prizes, just so we can at least go into a more level playing field with our prizes. That seems optimistic for us, but sometimes you got to be a bit realistic, you know? It's a bit tough. It's a bit tough. Let's think. The fact that they get any card they want every turn effectively renders this Zorak almost useless. So I think... taking out Zorok doesn't seem... although it's 2 prizes and it's already damaged, so I think... and if they were playing Acerola, they would have used it by now. They would have definitely Lucarioed for an Acerola, so I think going for the Zorok is still the right way to go. Looking at it, yeah. Now, I'm not playing any Sightseer in this list, I believe. It kind of sticks to my original concept of discarding. It just doesn't seem good, considering every resource you use in this deck is almost too valuable to get rid of. Whereas in a lot of decks, you have Ultra Ball, and you can discard things that you just don't need there and then, and you can recover them, or you just don't need it for the matchup. But this one is, you kind of need everything. Okie dokie. We are in a super tough spot. Now, we can promote the Lele itself, but I'm going to promote the Hoppip, and we're going to draw out of this. Getting those jump... oh, we could rescue stretch for a Natu, and then go for Guzma. But that just still leaves our board state quite weak. This is tough. This is definitely tough. I think we do go for the Natu play because we want to keep the Hoppip alive, so we can get our final jump bluff out. And I want to get it out right now, just so we have a way. Yeah, so let's just make the play here, and yeah, let's just go for that, and we'll just get the knockout here. And am I getting the knockout? I am. I'm hitting 120, right? Yeah. So we'll get the knockout here. We take some prizes, which just gives us a bit extra stuff to work with. And we could have lost Blender the Lele, but that just seems horrible. Think. They definitely have a KO here. We need to Ultra Ball for a skip limb. And I think I'm going to Ultra Ball away the Lost Blender. And maybe our top deck. That seems optimal. And then we kind of just going to have to roll with Natu for the rest of the game. Natu's kind of that late game attacker you really want. It's just as soon as all your jump bluffs are gone and knocked out, you just go in with Natu, and then usually that's when you hit your most damage. But I really want to get that Natu out because I just wanted to catch up. If we knocked the likes of that Garchomp out with 10 HP, that just felt bad. Zorok's just like, alright, fine, I'll knock you out in return. But just getting that Zorok out the way is good. It just keeps us in the loop a little bit. However, we seem to be in a very, very bad spot considering they're just going to be able to stream attacks now. So, super, super tough. Now, we're actually going to put that out because they can go for a quick dive if they want to, and we don't want them to quick dive. So, what I'm going to do is Ultra Ball. Yeah, we're going to Ultra Ball away the Lost Blender and the Guzma, and just go for a Skip Plume and just get that last jump bluff out. So, we can now get the one shot on this Garchomp. And then we can, of course, Lele for a Lily, considering we have no cards in our hand. If I have Lily in deck. No, I don't. So, we have to get the Cynthia, unfortunately. Yeah, so we'll get the Cynthia, and then we will get a fresh hand of 6. And hopefully we find a Natu or something so we can follow up when this jump bluff gets knocked out by, I assume, the other Garchomp. Yeah, that's good. Because they're going to want to knock it out, and they can't knock it out with a quick dive. So given their energy attachment situation, they're going to need to knock it out. Unless they have some tricky play up their sleeve. But although they could Guzma the Lele, but that just seems stupid on that part, considering that we can just attach Retreat and knock it out. I don't know. Let's see. Right, rescue stretch. We could, no, we can't bring, it's pointless bringing jump bluff back, considering all our Hoppips are now gone, if I am correct. Let me check our situation. Yeah, all our Hobbits are gone. This Skip Plume's now a dead card. We could rescue Stretch for another Natu and drop it on the bench. But we don't. We got Natu in hand. Let's just drop the Natu and go for Lost March here for knockout. That's pretty good. Now we do need to find a DCE eventually. Speak of the devil, we found a DCE. Oh wait, no. I was saying earlier that because of their energy attachment situation, we should be fine. However, they just need to attach an energy now. Knock me out, I knock them out, they attach an energy, and they get the win. So it seems unfortunate because they are just ahead on the energy attachment game. And that's the real awkwardness of Garchomp, is the energy attachment. Sometimes you do fall behind, and that's what makes you lose, because you just can't use your Royal Blades attack. But here, they are just in such a good spot that they just, yeah, they've got this. They definitely have this. There's no GX on their bench, so we can't work our way around it. It's just super sketchy. So I think that is game, unless they make a huge misplay. So we're going to keep going just in case they do go for some very weird misplay. But I highly doubt it. They look like they've got everything they want. That inclusion of a Zoroark tech was a bit weird, but at the same time, it did help them set up, so I can't flaunt them for playing a Zoroark tech. Would I do it myself? I don't think I would. I don't think I would play a Zoroark in this list, considering it gives your opponent an option to take 2 prizes if they hit the numbers right. And it's just not really worth it in that sense. However, I would like to also make the counterpoint to that, in that Zoroark can just DCE attack. So you can use Zoroark in the active and attack whilst you're charging up your Garchomp. So maybe there's room for consideration when playing that. Now, we could bring the Lele up, but are we going to be real and just be like, they're going to go for the Cynthia? And if we bring the Natu up, let's just bring the Lele. If we bring the Natu up, the Natu is just going to be knocked up by a quick dive, so it's not that big a deal. Alright, let's just go for Energy Drive. We've lost the game anyway. We did manage to bring him down to 2 prizes. That is quite unfortunate, though. So you can see Lost March is not the almighty deck that a lot of people are saying. It is a deck that actually needs a bit of learning here and there. So it's not, as I said, as turbo and as autopilot as the likes of Night March. So definitely still a learning curve for some people. Obviously a lot less of a learning curve than other decks. A lot of other decks take a bit more brain to play. But nonetheless, I will give you some more decks in the future. I still need to get some more cards. I really want to do Blacephalon GX. Really, really fun concept of that. But I haven't got enough Blacephalons. I've got 2. So I'd like to get 4. So I want to get 4 Blacephalons and maybe do that. And of course, I will give you my other archetypes that I am currently making that are fused with older cards and Lost Thunder. Because there's a lot of new interesting ways to play a lot of different decks now with the new Lost Thunder archetype. So I do have some ideas there, so stay tuned. I probably will have one out tomorrow thinking about it. But yeah, do leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments down below if you do have any suggestions or any decks you want me to play. I think suggestions is a great idea. Some people have given me suggestions already and I've got them in my head too. So yeah, give me a few suggestions and I might play the deck that you want me to play. But other than that, I'll leave you to it. Peace.